Hi there, welcome to Authors and Dragons, and we are interrupting your regularly scheduled episode because we didn't record an episode for this week. Why? We have a good reason. We were at Authors and Dragons Con 2022, and it was chaotic and wonderful. And if you couldn't be there, you're going to be getting all kinds of treats soon. You're going to be getting a live A&D episode, a live Calamity Janes, a live Salty Bastards, but also some cool panels we did with some special guests. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be dropping that soon. Unfortunately, I am only just back from A&D Con. I am massively spaced out and hungover, so nothing new is getting edited until next week. So what we're going to do is we're going to dip into our Mimic Chest archives and get an all-time classic. It was based on How Did This Get Played, where we basically talk about old, weird video games. Rachel joins us, Joe joins us, Drew joins us, Rick joins us. It's a fun one. If you don't know what a Mimic Chest is, it's our secret monthly podcast we put on our Patreon. Not all of the Mimic Chests are suitable for general release, but we dig a few out now and then to let you know what's going on. And because we like them, they're funny. So if you're on the Patreon and you've already heard these, I do apologize. Of course, I hope you understand the reasons for doing this. If you haven't heard them, enjoy. It's just like a side quest, but more mimicky, I guess. Anyway, here you go. See you next time. Bye.
From Atari to Xbox, from Nintendo to Sega, we're here to talk about the weirdest, worst, and weekly variable factor video games as we mimic chest How Did This Get Played? With me today is Joseph Brazzi, Rick Gualteri, Steve Wetherill, and RE Carr.
Hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
Alright, and so we are here to do a How Did This Get Played? I am Drew Hayes. Normally on the podcast we are mimicking, which is hosted by Heather Ann Campbell and Nick Weiger, and you should definitely check out it in its own entirety. It's a very fun show. They focus down on one game for every episode, but we don't have the free time to coordinate playing through a whole game together. So we are going to talk about our own worst, weirdest, and wackiest, I believe as RE Carr threw out for our substitute W, gaming experiences. So anybody have a recent or one that's just bubbling on the top of their head they want to go first with?
Mine's a deep dive into the seedy past of video games, so maybe we should...
Yeah, mine's kind of the same way.
Rick and I have probably got the same traumatic video game experience.
I hope so.
Like, none of you ever had to be on the slush pile of a video game review website. The things that I saw, the horrors that I endured, the crap that I had to give to the new guys once I finally had seniority would just make you guys all lose their hair.
Oh, I beg to differ. I actually worked for an online gaming startup for a year back in the early 2000s, and we had to do... half of everybody's jobs was drop everything and do beta testing for these broken-ass janky games.
I don't know if
horrible.
you've seen Rodeo or what we play, but it feels like we're doing beta testing on about half of the games
Yeah, it's
that we paid for.
I always dreamed of being a video game journalist because in England we had something called C plus VG right in the early days. And nobody knew how video game journalism was supposed to work. So these guys were just fucking around and having a great time.
Nothing will destroy your love of video games temporarily, like being a video game journalist. That's all I can say. It is definitely a soul-breaking experience. And if you happen to not be male, it is brutal, let's just say. There's a reason so many women use their initials or just use male pen names, because if they figure you out, the nicest thing that happened was I got spit on in public. The threats were much worse.
Well, you're telling us that all these years this whole Gamergate thing was actually real?
I know it might be shocking, but yeah, video game. Well, a certain subset of video game fans might have been mean to women in video games for a long time. And believe me, when I was first doing video games, we still had a Super Nintendo section. So it's not a new thing.
Well, thankfully, we can see from the actions of people like Activision Blizzard that things are clearly getting better.
I dodged a bullet. I almost worked for them, and I was so disappointed when I didn't get in the last round, and now I'm like,
Woo!
dodged a bullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So don't you go, well, that was a freebie.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, Rachel, you do excellent work. But on your Zoom calls, could you wear more lingerie?
Oh my god, yeah. No, I remember the only thing that saved me in BlizzCon is I had this wonderful, huge guy who was my fairy godfather throughout the whole convention. Because obviously we weren't interested in each other, but we were watching each other's backs. And by pretending to be there together, neither one of us got bothered. And it was lovely.
It is wild when we're doing the Birdio thing and we got the question of, when are you guys going to go back to World of Warcraft? I mean, at some point we might really want to go back to it, but the honest answer is maybe when Activision Blizzard goes 1 month without being an abject piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's not the sexual harassment, it's the union busting, and then it's destroying evidence, and Jesus Christ knows what they have for fucking October.
Yeah, there comes a point where you gotta look and be like, okay, I enjoy doing something, but I don't want to support these shitty activities.
Yeah,
So
I canceled my WoW subscription. I don't have one right now.
Our whole family here is boycotting Blizzard product. So I get it.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. We have Diablo 3 on the Switch, and I haven't played it since I heard.
It sucked because I used to love watching Overwatch, and I love the commentators. But yeah, boycott is boycott.
Yep.
Deep sigh.
But on to a positive gaming experience. I do have a good one that I can talk about that is a recent one, and it is one, I know it's a sequel to one that Rachel has played.
Yes.
So have you picked up Psychonauts 2?
I haven't. I mean, Psychonauts is one of those near and dear games. It's like a critical darling that nobody played. And I get that it had some control issues, particularly on later levels, but I always loved that. I won't lie. It was I got an Xbox and I played Psychonauts for that. Also because it was a tax write-off because I wrote about video games at the time.
Very responsible fiscal management there. I like it. Well, Psychonauts 2, I didn't play the original, so we're in the exact inverse positions. I didn't have an Xbox when that one came around, so I missed it.
Is there a lungfish? Please, that's my favorite thing as a massive fish geek, that it was the only game I knew of that featured, a lungfish that was...
Not yet, but I should also add I have not beaten it yet. I don't have a lot of free gaming time, and it's a bit of a longer game, so I'm working my way through it at the pace I can. But it's been a very enjoyable experience. It's incredibly odd. The art style is distinct, jarring at times, but it does kind of grow on you. And then the dialogue is really, really fun. There's a lot of character work, and then the platforming is really enjoyable, and the combat is there.
The combat has always been there. I'll say that what I loved about the original one was it was one of the first games that used really sophisticated dialogue looping with natural pauses and stuff. So you got, nowadays we're spoiled for choice with thousands of hours of dialogue, but back in the early 2000s, the late 90s, you were lucky if you got 3 lines. And they were the same ones, and they were usually read badly, but it had lots of dialogue and fun. The guy who did Invader Zim was one of the voices. I think he was Raz.
I think he's back. He does the same voice, because there's a point where another character pops up, and I was like, that's Gur. That's just straight up Gur.
It is. And I love the fact that it's basically, let's put platforming and mental illness together and make a game. But they didn't even, originally they were going to have it all be peyote, but they thought maybe marketing it as a drug trip in the tail end of the Just Say No era. Bit lies. So it's mostly
the peyote vibes are still there for sure.
It's more unspoken, but they had to get rid of any overt drug use in it.
It's a little less. It is technically unspoken, but there is an entire psychedelic musical number sung by Jack Black at one point in the game. So,
I might have to pick up the sequel, because before all we had were lungfish and children getting their brains removed. So,
it's actually that's a good segue to a gaming sort of aspect that is a big influence on my gaming these days. So Psychonauts 2 is available on Game Pass, as is the original Psychonauts, as is, honestly, most of the things I've probably played over the last year, both because it's an expansive library and also just because, damn, I mean, if it's quote-unquote free, it's hard not to say, well, I guess I'll give it a shot.
The Netflix of gaming, yeah.
Exactly.
I both love it and I'm terrified of it because I'm not supposed to play addictive things, because it distracts me from doing things like writing books. But when you just dive in, it's like, oh, I can be a goat. Goat Simulator, that's a good weird game.
I can dig that with Xbox, and I say this not as an Xbox fan, because I bought like a cheap subscription to PlayStation Plus via some online thing for like a year subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and I maybe used it once or twice, and it was just like, I have no real desire to log in and use this.
Well, I use it because I have a PS5, so it's nice just to go back and play. That's like, and then some of the games they've bumped up, so it's nice to revisit them. Like No Man's Sky, that one was a good.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that.
Oh yeah, didn't they do a ton of work on that, right?
Yeah, it went from the most boring game on the planet, or any planet, to actually fun, and I need to check out the new update. But we're not supposed to talk about games that are actually redeemable, are we?
Well, it's a bit of a weird one. I was gonna say I would have liked to do a PS5 probably when I got it, but I just couldn't get one. And to this day, every now and then when I check, it's still a no-go.
I feel bad. I got a fan got me one. I paid for it, but a fan got me one. Like, I feel like I used my clout for evil somehow.
It kind of reminds me of that time you skipped to the front of the drink line at Dragon Con.
You're never gonna let
flashing
me.
your badge.
You're never gonna let me live down. I had.
No. I'm an important person. I need a refill of my
I
lemonade.
literally paid cash for one drink while people were waiting to get their salads because we had panels to do later. So yes, okay, one little bit of power, and you won't let me live it down. That's why I was catching Pokemon during your friggin' panel.
Meanwhile, the rest of us just screamed at our assistant until they cut the line.
Exactly. I don't even
Or you
have an
could-
assistant to yell at.
I guess I have to clarify that is a joke. I know people have a very weird idea of what we make
Yeah.
as authors. Not that.
I love those emails. I love those emails. Dear Mr. Gualtieri's assistant.
Yeah.
You get the,
I can't afford an assistant I kiss the ass of, let alone when I mean to.
you get those moments
what?
that
Oh, no, you go, because
no, I was just on the subject of drinking. I was just going to say that, like, at A&D Con, people just would randomly bring me alcohol.
It's
I
nice.
didn't even ask for it. They'd just be like, "Here, I have this booze. You should drink it." And I was like, "Okay."
It's a perfect system.
There was once a review site that only asked for like agents or assistants, so I got my cover artist's wife to be my assistant. I hired her for a day so that I could get reviewed by the site. It was amazing. So every once in a while, I'll just joke and go, "Assist," and she tells me exactly where to shove it.
That's fantastic.
But they didn't say it had to be a permanent assistant. I hired her for one day. And it was awesome.
No, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
You should all try it sometime. She's the best assistant ever.
Let's see. I know, Rachel, you had mentioned you wanted to talk about Seaman as one of your...
Well, who doesn't want to talk about semen on a podcast?
Yes, enlighten us.
Tell us about the semen.
I will. So, everyone knows that semen is a very controversial subject, especially when it involves Leonard Nimoy. Sorry, estate. But, okay, Did any of y'all have a Dreamcast, or was it just like video game journalist weirdos who actually had that system?
I didn't have a Dreamcast, but I had a friend who did.
Yeah, like
So
I worked at the time at a video game store too, and our boss, our manager, was a huge Dreamcast like fanboy. And he made all of us play the Dreamcast games because for those like 5 customers who didn't have PlayStations, we had to do it. And I will say that some of the weirdest ass games ever came out of Sega and that, but nothing tops. So sort of riding the Tamagotchi fan wave of the late 90s, there came this game where it was you had to take care of like an egg and it grew into a fish with a human face, and they got Leonard Nimoy to do the voice of it, and even though you cared for it, it kind of harassed you and said all this weird, incredibly Japanese stuff, and by the end you're just like, something in Psychonauts would seem positively normal. But yeah, there is a game called Seaman and it's
Seaman.
it is truly bizarre. Yes, Seaman. If you just need like a nightmarish existence, you can watch the finale on YouTube because eventually it becomes Frogman. So even though fish are not amphibians, and this is the part that got me, it's like not the fact it's Leonard Nimoy's voice and the Japanese designer's face and it's a fish, it's the fact that fish don't turn into frogs that finally suspended my disbelief in this title.
Yeah,
The more I hear about this, the more I think Shape of Water owes somebody some fucking money.
It does. It really does.
If it's Shape of Water, this just makes me want to take Shape of Water, and if I had any editorial skills, just cut it so that you have Leonard Nimoy voicing over the fishman's gestures.
I think you can get so
Leonard Nimoy dialogue from C.
It's horrible. It's just so horrible, and it gets progressively trippier.
God. Steve, tell me that's the next movie masterclass.
I may have to look into it. I mean, that's easily done.
Just add Leonard Nimoy's dialogue to Fishman from Shape of Water.
No, what you have to do is have Leonard Nimoy singing the Bill Boy Baggins song in Shape of Water.
A little bit too.
If you want to go full meta weird,
that may be a step too far.
Think we might have gone round the cat's bend on that one.
You realize who you're talking to. There is no step too far of my weird. I play Japanese RPG.
Again, feel cats proved that there is a limit for everybody.
What did?
Cats.
Oh, I missed that one. I was too busy prepping Werewolves of the Third Reich for your viewing pleasure.
Well, the joy of an At the Movies is that at any time you or the listeners who are listening right now can fire up that file, put on the movie, and watch it right along with us like we're there.
That's right, Drew. The joy of the At the Movies is they never really go away.
No.
Even when you wish they did.
They live in infamy.
You guys did Cats? I can't remember.
They did.
Oh,
Cats.
We did.
With the buttholes or without?
I don't think we had the rumoured butthole version. I don't think it would have saved it. I don't think it would have made it worse.
We definitely had the bad CGI version because I remember we screamed about seeing Judi Dench's hands and her wedding ring at the final scene. We were like, oh no, we rented it. Like, we didn't find a pirated copy. They released for rental the version where her human hands are visible at the end.
It's not like they released a butthole version and then decided to make everything else better. I can't imagine that was the case.
All right, so we have talked a little bit about current, a little bit about the past. Steve or Rick, you've both alluded to some big deep dive. I think we're far enough in that one of y'all can bite that off.
Go ahead, Steve.
I don't know, maybe we should 3, 2, 1. I mean, I'm going to go for, I think what was a formative gaming experience. Maybe a formative kind of sex on computers experience. I wanted to talk about Leisure Suit Larry.
Ooh,
oh God, I've heard of those. Yeah, I've heard of those.
Not even the Playboy Mansion one.
There's about a dozen of these things now, and they've been going since theoretically 1981, but more likely 1986. Which means this guy's he's up there with Sonic the Hedgehog, kind of. And he is just like a middle-aged man in a bad suit and a receding hairline, just trying to get out and have sex with people. That was the premise of the game.
That does sound like most Sonic slash fiction, yeah.
But with more venereal diseases.
Well, I don't know. It depends which flash fiction you read. I've never seen a pregnant Leisure Suit Larry drawing yet, although I may look for one after this podcast.
Have you searched Leisure Suit Larry fan art?
Oh, Lord.
No.
Don't go there. Do not go there.
I don't think.
I wouldn't recommend it, but I feel like that certainly exists.
Well, let's start on the plane of casual problematic reality. Because this was before the internet was available to everyone, or indeed established, I think. And the idea of pixelated boobs and cleavage on a computer was shockingly new. Leisure Suit Larry, and I think the first one was called in the Land of the Lounge Lizards. Basically about a dude going around some kind of Vegas knockoff, just trying to meet women quite desperately. I think I must have been about 10 years old when I played this. Cousin had it on his computer. There was a series of multiple choice questions which was the sophisticated method at the time on deducing whether you're an adult or not. But of course they were multiple choice and we had infinite tries at it, so that didn't really work. It was an adult-themed point-and-click adventure. Very much comedy-based, bit raunchy. I think the first encounter you have is with a sex worker. And I learned some valuable lessons from it. It was all like pixelated, but there were some quite intricate options in the interaction with characters. So if you went to the sex worker and didn't wear a condom, your dick exploded when you came out. So I learned some valuable lessons from this game.
That actually happened?
Yeah, well, it was all very pixelated, so I think I figured out later, because it was kind of like a green explosion on his dick, and we didn't really know what that was, because we were like, I think, like, later I thought, well, maybe it's supposed to be kind of like rapid onset gonorrhea. So there was a moral lesson there, but I just thought his dick exploded.
Yeah, it's a bit of a morality tale for Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I seem to recall in that scene, they didn't call it a condom, it was a prophylactic. And I remember the first time I played through that in the 80s, I was like, okay, do you want to put on prophylactic? And I was like, what the fuck's a prophylactic?
It means preventative measure. I learned that.
Well, I learned that from Leisure Suit Larry. But, you know,
Yeah.
it was a try and fail learning experience, which I'm glad I had in a virtual environment.
I'm just wondering if people really explode if you don't put condoms on them.
Well, I didn't know at the time. I just assumed that was what was happening. I later kind of joined up the dots. But you can check, I imagine you can check out the original animation on YouTube. You tell me if I was exaggerating, if 10-year-old me had it desperately wrong. But also, if you kind of like you walked out, you remembered to wear your prophylactic, went outside, didn't do your fly up, just instantly arrested. I think beaten by a cop. Just like, so it was filled with really valuable life lessons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was one of those games where you had to do everything perfectly, otherwise everything would be a horrible death.
Yeah.
Like a choose your own adventure book for male porn.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't particularly pornographic. It was all censored, really.
No.
Yeah, it was more just kind of like just some very solid life advice at the beginning there. I mean, obviously, you weren't supposed to emulate Larry. I think we realised that as 10-year-old boys. But it wasn't particularly kind of adventure. There was no jumping on turtles or anything. There were no magic swords, at least not, figurative ones. And it'd just be little things like you say the wrong thing to someone, a cop might beat you to death. So I'm not going to call Leisure Suit Larry an educational game series, but I am going to say it was an eye-opener for young. Not saying it did a better job of sex education in my primary school. I will say it took a different angle.
I think it gave that important life lesson of of basically saying, okay, you're going through life, and no matter what choice you make, you will not see the boobs with this choice.
Yeah, there was a real kind of lesson there that if you're just an incredibly desperate walking the streets looking for random strange kind of guy, things aren't going to work out for you, which is again kind of a solid life lesson.
Yeah, and it's a lesson apparently I took to heart because years later I found myself playing Witcher 3, and every relationship scenario somehow I made it to, no, you're not gonna. The Witcher will not be having sex with this person.
How did you fail the unicorn? Like, that's a
yes.
Oh my! Dear Lord, man! Even I, the paladin, could.
Yeah, I had like Triss basically just immediately be like, let's just be friends.
Well, that's impressive.
I think it doesn't count unless you have a successful relationship in one of these games, and then you walk outside and your dick explodes, and then a cop comes and beats the shit out of you.
I'm now going to be looking for this random dick explosion if people do things wrong.
Random dick explosion.
This was in the pixelated days. I believe Leisure Suit Larry is all kind of like 3D graphics now. I don't know if it's lost some of the magic. Yeah, a raunchy comedy series. I brought this up because I was surprised it was still going. The latest release was in 2020, which I think is some kind of like...
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think he's evolved to some kind of humorous date simulator style thing, but I was glad to see him still out there.
Is it like the KFC dating simulator?
I have no idea.
Oh God.
Hey, there's nothing like sexy Colonel Sanders to get a girl going.
I'll take your word for that. I thought it was going to be worse than that.
I
was before you say you're going to fuck a bucket of chicken. I was just contemplating that.
I mean, wasn't Mario Lopez the Colonel Sanders at one point?
He was. He was in the Lifetime movie, which that's going to be my at the movies pick. I'm telling you that.
I have not seen the Lifetime movie. That's just I don't know how to.
All right. Well, when people ask why we haven't had RE Carr on the at the movies for a few years,
it's like we're avoiding the KFC romance.
But is Vanessa Hudgens in it? Oh no, it's not a Hallmark movie.
No, it's not a Hallmark movie. It's a Lifetime movie.
I still can't quite wrap my head around the fact that happened.
God, I really hope there's a line in there that's that basically is like, I want us to double down on our love.
Honestly, after the lesson of Grumpy Cat, I would probably be open to it. I imagine there's some redeemable humor in there.
No.
You'd think so. You'd hope so.
Hope and dream.
I mean, speaking of tie-ins, has anyone played any of the horrible tie-in video games? Just to go back on subject, because there are a lot of horrific, like, commercial tie-in video games, not including the KFC dating simulator game.
Oh, I thought you just meant a KFC when I was like, how many KFC tie-ins are there?
There's not just the KFC tie-in, like Burger King had a game. There was an Avoid the Noid game in the 90s, and you could be the Noid, I think, on one of the systems.
Burger King had like the 3 games featuring their creepy version of the mascot.
Yeah, and you had to like sneak up and get people their burger.
They got a lot of press, that Noid game did. I imagine somebody was getting free food.
Because they were giving away games, weren't they? Like, if you got a value meal or something, you got...
Well, hold on. Wasn't the Noid Dominoes?
No, that was that was a different one. There were 2 Noid games. One as the Noid and one that was Avoid the Noid, which was more on brand.
No.
McDonald's had a game. I don't think Wendy's has had one.
The cereal Chex had a game called Chex Quest.
Oh my God, there was a Chex Quest? Was it any good?
It was basically a Doom clone.
What?
Oh yeah, you were playing this.
Not what I expected from Chex.
Yeah, you were playing this like space adventurer guy who looked like a walking piece of Chex, and you were shooting these aliens called Flemoids. Like
that's as weird as the Quaker Oatmeal Leisure Suit Larry ripoff.
Allegedly, you weren't killing them; you were sending them back to their own dimension. But I mean, this was teenagers playing that, so we all knew you were killing them.
Their own dimension being hell.
Oh my goodness! So maybe Doom leads to cereal, or is it cereal leads to Doom?
Crunch a Doom.
I don't know. It was just I remember playing this game and getting surprisingly invested with a friend of mine. Because that was all we would do. Is I would just go over to his house and play video games. Because I didn't really start to have. I didn't own I didn't own a console that I used regularly until I got my Switch. And prior to that, it was all PC games, and I'm a Mac person, so like, there's not a lot of games. So I'd just go over to my friend's house.
Thanks for making me feel old.
I remember the Cool Spot tie-in game for 7-Up, and I remember actually enjoying that game.
Yeah, there was that. It wasn't a Chopper Chop game. It was Zool the Ninja. It was pretty cool, but there was a lot of Chopper Chop advertising on that sucker. Yeah, there was a whole period in the early 90s of just like, how can we doubly poison children?
There was Alf the game.
Oh my god.
Oh, no, wait, what? I loved Alf. What system was Alf the game on?
Genesis or Super... Oh, now I am going to actually look this one up because I remember it being horrible, but I don't remember what system it was on.
I feel like you could make a really solid Alf game just by transplanting his head onto Leisure Suit Larry's body and just leaving the game as is.
Have him looking for cats.
Yeah, just have a couple of pussy eating jokes in there. There you go. Checks in the mail. Oh,
Wow.
I like to think I've just revived 2 classic franchises there.
It was a 1989 game. I'm trying to find out what system it was on, but it's pretty awful. I mean, that was the year where everything was Alf. Was like 1989.
Oh, God.
So.
Gordon Melmac. Here. No, wait, his planet was Melmac.
Yeah.
Gordon Shumway. Can I buy you a drink and tell you about this nose?
Oh my. It was the Sega Master System. It was before the Genesis.
Oh, yeah. That was pre my time, substantially.
Thanks, guys. I feel old.
He got captured by the military and tortured to death, so maybe...
Yeah, that was the series finale. I just pulled Alf's pseudonym out of my head, and you feel old.
Oh, great. That's in my search history now, so...
I'm just realizing, that's kind of fucked up that his name was Gordon Shumway, and they just called him Alf. Like, that's like if you landed on another planet, and you're like, hey, I'm Steve. And everyone's like, that's great, shitface.
Wait, you're Steve?
You can
I thought
understand.
you were
No, we're speaking. You know my name. Yeah, whatever, shitface.
If by other planet you mean my hometown, then yeah, I could see that happening.
Is this just Corby in a nutshell?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, dear Lord. I saw something I didn't want to see.
Are you in the Alf fan art?
No. I saw that there was a Grey's
Pregnant Alf.
Anatomy video game.
Oh no.
I thought you were going to say Grey's Anatomy Elf crossover.
No. Trust me, after I had to look up the Shreksy porn, there is a crossover for everything. I'm sure there is Alf and Grey's Anatomy. Where, like, he was going to be dissected, but they fall in love or something.
Or he's just in Grey's Anatomy. But, whoever Grey is. Yeah, there was a surgery game. You're saying, like, Grey's Anatomy, like, that's a weird idea for a game, but what was the surgery game on the DS called?
Surgeon Simulator?
Where
the one
you had the silence.
Which one? Or the DS?
But it went fucking weird, and you started out, like, otherworldly forces were against you while you were trying to pull, like, broken glass out of somebody's abdominal cavity.
Like aliens attacked mid-surgery?
Like, you were doing emergency surgery on someone and like a pentagram just appeared on their chest and things got a lot worse and you had to work a lot quicker. I stopped playing after that because I thought, that's fucked up. Life's already hard.
This isn't real surgery.
It was kind
What
of
if it
weird
was?
when I was like, scraping this guy's vocal cords already. This was already a weird pastime before Satan got involved.
I think it's Surgeon Simulator. There is now a sequel. It promises more weird stuff.
Well, I'm glad somebody's having fun with it. I mean, you could probably do an Alf crossover there as well, considering how the series ended.
Oh, there's an alien surgeon one. Yep, it exists.
Excellent.
Trauma Center Under the Knife.
Yeah, it happened. Whatever game you think.
Dramatic anime heroes cut up bodies while Satan tries to stop them.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, I believe Rick also had a big grudge game he wanted to air out.
Whoa. I don't have
No,
a grudge against Leisure Suit Larry. I have a soft spot for Leisure Suit. No, that's the wrong word. I shouldn't use that word.
Soft spot
I have
Leisure
a
Steven?
fond memory of being touched as a child by Leisure Suit Larry. No, none of this works out. Let's call it a grudge.
Yeah. Let's leave the touching to the Michael Jackson Saving Children game. That exists.
I love
no.
that
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Moonwalker? Is that what it was
Moonwalker
called?
was great.
Wow.
But it was still Michael Jackson Saving Children.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously looking back now, it's
Yeah.
don't quite join up. But at the time, you turned into that giant robot, or you made everybody like you pressed your super button and everyone had to do the dance. That was a heck
Yeah,
of a
and you
game.
could throw your hat at him, couldn't you? It was like, ooh.
Yeah,
I mean, that part
you
was
could do
fun.
you could do all the Michael Jackson moves that you'd want to do.
The little children.
Oh god.
Oh, that would be like a
Wow.
Jimmy Savile simulator, which only Steve will probably get that reference, but oh.
All right, Rick, get us out of the Michael Jackson simulator.
Yeah,
with your
I
game.
don't think we're going much better with mine.
Oh dear.
I'm thinking maybe I should change it to like E.T. the game, but the one
What
I
did you
was
pick?
thinking
The
of,
Cosby simulator?
close. It was there was a game. It was by Running Scissors Software, and it was Postal 2.
I remember.
So Postal 2 was the sequel to this.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be an ultra violent game, but it was kind of an over the top, like, kind of platformer, and it wasn't very good graphics. So Postal 2 upped the ante by basically being using the Unreal Engine and turning it into kind of a first person shooter. But the idea behind this game was there was no goal of this game other than getting through a week of the main character's time. And basically, you're in a town, you're given tasks to do, and you were given the freedom to either do these tasks in a decent way, or be the most absolute awful person you could. Considering one of the commands, keyboard commands, was unzipping your fly and just taking a piss on somebody.
I
Wow.
wanted to get this game banned. I can't imagine why. So how did you play it, Rick? Were you wanting to just live your life peacefully and not cause any trouble?
I am not a good person in video games. As I tell people, it's like, if you meet me in real life, shake your hand, I'm good to my kids, I pay my taxes. If you meet me in a video game, I will chainsaw you before even saying hello. So, needless to say, I thought this game was a fun stress reliever because it was basically just it literally was a do whatever you want with very few consequences game. Well, there were consequences. The more horrible of a person you were, eventually, as the days went by, eventually the town folks started to realize that. But yeah, it was just a game of utter freedom. But by giving you that utter freedom, it pretty much guaranteed that most people who played it were just going to be the most awful version of themselves they could.
I am so terrible at these games because I try to be as good as possible in like every game I play.
I'm right there with you. That can't
So
be me.
we should just have like me and Joe versus like the rest of y'all in like playing Mass Effect to see how good we can be as opposed to all you assholes.
Oh no, I'm on team way too polarly positive.
Okay, Drew, you
The
come
only
with us.
time I'm tempted, the only time I'm tempted is if the powers that are locked behind the evil shit are objectively more fun,
Yeah.
and then I'll be just evil enough to get the cool powers.
I mean, it depends.
See, I'll be the first to admit, I played Red Dead Redemption. The very first thing I did, okay, I'm
Oh,
putting on
no.
a trail of my horse. Oh, look, a stagecoach is like, is going. I wonder if I could just shoot these people.
Me versus Rick in any game it'd be like the devil and the angel.
Kind of like the top-down GTAs from that time as well. It's like you could just concentrate on your driving, or you could drift through an entire line of Hare Krishna and get a super bonus.
Oh God.
God.
Those were so-
I remember playing GTA 3, and I can't even say I played GTA 3 because I never actually got out of my neighborhood. I just had so much fun mugging my neighbors.
Please note this wasn't a video game in case you're listening, NSA.
Yes, a video
A
game.
video game.
I like one game I played, which I was I thought was the best thing ever was it was this game based on Star Trek Voyager. And it was a first-person shooter, and you're supposed to be like, a member of Starfleet going and doing good things, except they didn't have any, I guess,
they didn't see you coming.
Any limits programmed into it, so you could be on the ship and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the firing range and just test out this portable photon torpedo launcher," and Tuvok would walk in and you just turn and be like, "Fuck you," and vaporize them.
Was there any consequences?
And the game, yes, it was, and the consequences were hilarious. No matter what horrible thing you did to the crew, you got 30 days in the brig, and that was it.
Oh my god.
Lord.
So wiped out the entire bridge crew. Okay, we'll see you in 30 days. I hope you learned your lesson.
Yeah, I did. Next time I'll wipe you out faster.
This is
God,
why
I
Rick and
had
I
so
can't
much
play
fun
games
with that
together.
game.
We can't.
Did they regenerate? Did any of them come back, or did they?
Well, the game would end with you being in that, and then like you'd start over that level again. But man, it was just kind of like it's like, hi, I'm Neelix, and I'm gonna die.
Well, that's understandable.
Even I wouldn't mind you shooting Neelix.
I mean, theoretically,
Yeah, it was,
everyone on Star Trek is dead anyway because they get molecularly vaporized every time they teleport. So,
Are we going to
I
have
know.
this discussion? Because I love this discussion, but we're supposed to be talking about video games.
I'm just trying to absolve Rick's sins here. You can kill Neelix as many times as you want.
There is no resolving sins. I will admit.
You kicked the penguin off.
My
didn't
favorite
you?
thing in the world is playing a video game with I'll play video games and my wife will sit in the living room just like doing her thing and like watching me, and it just cracks me up because every like 2 minutes it's like, why'd you have to do that? Why'd you have to do that? That person wasn't bothering you. Why'd you have to be a prick?
You see, I'm a bit different in that I won't just drive a motorcycle into a nun. But if I can ramp over a building and land on a nun and get a bonus for that, I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to do that.
Okay, this is the question. I have a question for all of you. Would you knock the penguin off the ice floe in Super Mario 64? You know what I'm talking about. The adorable little penguins. Are you the monsters who knock them off into the abyss?
After about 7 times losing that, yeah, absolutely.
I spent about half a day playing Breath of the Wild, figuring out ways to permanently kill the chickens.
Monster. Even as I
I
tried
figured
to...
it
Call
out.
me horrible.
I finally figured out a way to do it. You throw them in the water,
Just
because
drown them.
then they go away.
I mean, the chickens are a formidable opponent, so, again,
Yeah, that's not nothing. Chickens come back with a vengeance in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not punching down. Again, it's all about, you're challenging the skill mechanics of the game. It's not mindless violence. It's all part of the challenge.
Is it not-
Just like
not
killing that
mindless
penguin.
Violence. You throw penguins off of ice floes and you kill innocent chickens in Zelda. What monsters are you?
I mean,
Guys,
that's,
like,
half the
Pokemon.
fun were the Assassin Creed games where you could just walk through a crowded city and just with impunity punch everybody you saw.
There's a channel I follow that does these random video game challenges that he imposes on himself, and one of my favorite ones was from Breath of the Wild, in which he brought a chicken with him all the way to Ganon, and then made Ganon hit the chicken to see if the chickens would then kill Ganon.
did they?
And they did, absolutely.
They did not.
Oh, no.
Well, they did do some damage. They flurried him for a while.
That's really
Oh.
funny. I think the record. I think the current record speed run for Breath of the Wild is 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I might have to watch that one.
It's
I'll see
great.
if I can find it. It's like you do the first set of shrines, you get like a stick and a handful of weapons, and apparently there is a way, if you know the combat controls well enough, to go all the way into the castle and kill Ganon while fucking naked.
That sounds very Leisure Suit Larry.
I do love that Nintendo gave just the full-on, like, hey, if you want to go fight Ganon pretty much as soon as you can, you know what? Go for it, cowboy.
Well, that was like kind of like I guess I call it a bug or a feature of what was it, Elder Scrolls 4, the one before Skyrim, was that they had this leveling system where like the harder you got, the higher the monsters got. So it actually was in your like best interest to just never level up in the game.
and you face like the final boss at like level 10. I think I remember that exploit. Not that I would ever use an exploit because I'm a paladin.
Well, yeah, because you'd hit level 60 in that game, and you'd be like, "Oh, here's a goblin," and it'd be a level 60 goblin to kick your ass.
Here's something that might cheer you up, Rick. Postal apparently was made into a movie by Uwe Boll. It currently has 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That does not surprise me in the least.
So
Which game? God.
it can't be worse than the Uwe Boll masterpiece, Blood Rain.
Oh, I bet it could. I bet it could.
In the Name of the King, that one's even worse.
You know something? We have our Tournament of Terror and our Tournament of Tinsel. We should just designate a month where we just do a tournament of Uwe Boll movies.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, it's common knowledge that those were all tax dodges, right? Like, that's
100%. It doesn't make them any better, though.
Oh no, it doesn't. It does make them make more sense when you're like, oh, this is like the Fantastic Four movie made to hang on to the rights. Good art is not the point of this.
That one is so bad. It's actually bad. That Fantastic Four
but
movie.
here's the thing: is even though they're tax dodges, Uwe Boll will get violent if you tell him his movies suck.
Yeah,
So there's some kind of ego behind it there.
Well, also, if you admit it's a tax dodge, then it becomes illegal. So you have to live that lie, man.
Yeah, he has to believe in those movies for the rest of his life, and that is his cross to bear.
He has to fight for him. Otherwise, he has to pay for him.
This is art. Do you hear me, IRS?
I think he made a deal with a demon of some sort of like, yes, you can make all these movies, but they have to be video game adaptations, and you have to say you like them, even though they're terrible.
That's a deal I would make.
Otherwise, you will pay for the rest of your
his life has got to be some kind of weird-ass Faustian deal. There's no other way around it.
I'm jealous of the man.
Speaking of weird and video games, y'all have gotten the news about the Mario Brothers movie casting, right?
yeah, that was some choices were made there.
I mean, we're all on board with Jack Black as Bowser. I feel pretty confident saying that one.
Yeah. Chris Pratt is pretty much anything though is
Yeah.
Do we not like Chris Pratt? I've noticed that we don't like Chris Pratt anymore.
Well,
we don't like him anymore?
There's just nothing about Chris Pratt that says Mario.
Oh, no, I completely agree with that.
In what there's just no... I don't know, like, nothing about that casting makes any sense.
Other than it makes everybody talk about it and probably want to see a sick desire to see if it's as bad as you think it's going to be.
You know, if he does it in kind of a Ryan Reynolds-esque way, where basically it's just, I'm just goofing on this and you're all in on it, could be fun.
Yeah, but I feel like you already played that card in the Lego movies.
Yeah, you already got away with it. If it is just a voiceover, then I don't know. Everybody's like freaking out as live action. It's like, he's not Italian. So I don't think anyone who played Mario has been so far.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bob Hoskins wasn't.
Actually,
I don't know about Captain Lou.
Was
Captain Lou Albano.
I would not be surprised.
Also the least convincing Mario. It's like...
You shut your fucking mouth.
You do not disparage my childhood there, okay? I'm with Drew
do
here.
the Mario.
Mario's about to throw me out of a fucking nightclub.
Yeah, that's what Mario is. You know, if you see Captain Lou Albano, you understand how Mario has beaten the shit out of a giant dragon a few times.
Let's not forget the seminal importance of John Leguizamo as Luigi.
You talk about the dude in...
I'm not going to fight like I did for Lou Albano on that one.
Yeah.
He is Italian-American, actually.
Oh, okay.
I looked it up.
Who is?
Lou.
Lou Albano, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about the original.
If we can diverge for a second,
movie.
though, I will say John Leguizamo was so hot as Luigi, and it really made me question things about my childhood. I have a bizarre love of the original Super Mario movie.
Now we need to look up any like Luigi slash fiction by RE Carr there.
Hang on, I
there
want
is
to
no
clarify
Luigi
something
slash fiction
with Joe real quick. Did you think Lou Albano was the movie one? Because Bob Hoskins is the movie one.
Yeah,
Lou Albano was a kid show.
Yeah, I was thinking about the movie, but yeah, now that I remember the cartoon.
I really wish you were right, and they had kept Captain Lou for the movie. God, that would have been so much fucking better.
Just go with Rachel's one. It's like, we're going to need to live action cast this. Just make sure Luigi is super fuckable. Because that's what you think when you play a game, right? Just want to fuck Luigi.
I mean, I won't lie. If you make Luigi hot, I'm there.
There you go.
It's a thing.
Just get
That
some
works
fucking
as like a
K-pop boy
Who is
bands.
voicing?
Charlie Day?
Who is voicing? Is it Charlie Day who's voicing him?
I think, is that Charlie Day's character?
I don't know.
Luigi, yeah. He's obviously God's gift to Toad. I don't know why they made that mistake.
Why isn't he Toad?
What, Charlie Day?
All right, I'm going to look up this cast
Because
list.
Charlie Day is fucking Toad.
Because Charlie Day, let's see, because Keegan-Michael Key is Toad, which that's also a pretty good Toad. I'm not mad at that Toad.
Does he have Charlie Day's voice and stature and face?
All right.
And face.
I like the idea of fuckable Luigi. I think it's a good bit if like they just make Luigi incredibly hot and Mario looks like, the dumpy Mario we expect, and everyone still treats Luigi like a piece of shit.
No, I think they should do what they did with the live action series and make Luigi 80 years old for no reason.
I was going to say with hot Luigi, we need to like redo Luigi's manner, except with like instead of ghosts, it's just coked out hookers.
Jesus.
Is now that going to be the thing? You're just going to be like, yeah, Rachel thought Luigi was hot when she was like 9, so we're going to bring this up for the rest of her life.
Well, let's be fair. John Leguizamo is a good-looking man.
Yeah.
No one's going to fight you on that one.
Yeah.
He is a
This
handsome
doesn't seem
fellow.
like our fault at all. It seems like entirely something that you've set into motion here. I'm not taking responsibility for fuckable Luigi.
That is true.
I'm agreeing. I think fuckable Luigi is a fun aspect to add to Luigi. Like, he doesn't have a lot going for his characters. He's the cowardly one. He's a little bit taller. So the
He
fact
had the
that
higher
he's
jump, though, in Super Mario World.
I think they kept
There
that
was
as canon
something-
past it, too.
Yeah, no, it's canon now. He's a higher jumper, less control. Also, he fucks.
And just a huge dong. Like, huge
And he
dong,
has-
incredibly ripped.
And he has the best face, though, when he throws the stupid shell, though, in Mario Kart. Like, there's nothing like... There is no
Stone Cold
dead-eye
Killer.
stare like Luigi's
Huge fake
stare.
dick.
Great. You realize how much Luigi porn I'm now gonna get? It's bad enough that everyone's sending me anything remotely Shreksy now.
It all makes
And before
sense
that it
now.
was tentacles, now it's gonna be Luigi.
Because-
What, do you think I have a green fetish?
Beforehand, like, Luigi was like, I'm a number one. Like, Luigi, you clearly ain't. But, I don't know, maybe he is. Maybe he's just talking entirely
looking
about
at
dick
him.
size.
Mario crying in the corner after seeing Luigi's giant tree stump, lamenting that nobody wants to do the Mario.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
If
Look at his
Mario
dick.
looked like Luigi, I would do the Mario.
All right, hold on a second. I've just found some fan art.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
I guess this does explain why Mario refers to Toad as Luigi's smaller cock.
I always wondered about that. When he came in, like, first in Mario Kart, he'd say, Todd is just a Luigi's smaller cock. And I always thought, what is that referencing? But now I understand.
Yep.
Oh god,
All
am I
makes
gonna have
sense.
to see this?
Where should I drop this art?
Oh, the fire, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Point.
Don't think that you're getting away without seeing this.
Oh my god.
Did you type that, Steve? Did you? I have.
No, do not look that up. I am not putting that
It
in my
wasn't
search.
it wasn't a vacuum he was holding.
Just launching fucking booze out the tip.
Oh god, you guys made me laugh so much I stopped my recording.
It's fine. It's probably for the best.
Let's see.
I hate you all. I hate you. Can we just talk about semen again? It's less pornographic than Luigi.
Well, I mean, if we're still on the subject of Luigi,
Kind of
you know?
feels like it's where we were with the booze. The booze were a metaphor.
That's where I was going with it. We'd like to keep it subtle on this podcast.
Well, think about it this way. If we're going to go all the way with the Super Mario action, did anyone ever play Super Mario Sunshine?
No, weirdly, that was the one I
The
missed.
island one with the paint and everything?
That was
Yeah,
good.
In that
It looked like a good one.
game, Baby Bowser keeps saying, Mama Peach, Mama Peach,
Oh yeah.
and claiming that Peach is his mother. Now, here's the thing. She doesn't refute that, or that it is actually impossible. Which clearly means I think she enjoys being kidnapped by Bowser.
No one refutes
Because
it
if you
at
look
all.
at the,
Bowser doesn't refute
if you
it.
look at both of them, yeah, she does not refute when baby Bowser keeps calling her Mama Peach. So clearly, there's a half Bowser out there, and
All right, I just posted it in the Slack.
she might have. Oh my God!
Look at that seductive Luigi.
Joe. Well, that's going in the personal collection.
It's him.
That is a smoldering Luigi.
That is some seriously smoldering Luigi action. I think after this post, we should share with our patrons what you are doing to taunt the RE Carr, who is here to talk about video games and has somehow ended up drooling over John Lick with.
I mean, he's worth drooling
Which is not
over.
a bad thing. He is.
I'm thinking instead of the Bowser Peach thing, we get some Peach with Dennis Hopper, King Koopa.
Wow!
I can't believe they got Dennis Hopper in that friggin' movie.
I can.
I can't believe
How
that
much
Dennis
money
Hopper,
did he
Bob
owe?
Hoskins, and it's an embarrassment of good actors.
Oh yeah, really leaned into a great cast. And then just fucking winged it.
Yeah.
I kind of love it though. It's so horrible. I love it. It is so bad. It is good movie. It holds a special place in my heart with He-Man.
We watched it recently, and we watched He-Man recently as well. They were kind of so bad it's not good.
Yeah, so bad it's still bad.
I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. You're just mad that you don't have perfect pitch to understand the cosmic key.
It's just jealous of Gwildor, man.
Yeah.
My gill slit!
That's what we need. Gwildor, Princess Peach / fiction.
It exists.
I had to send a Mario picture as well because it's just you gotta get,
There you go.
Dear God.
you gotta get both.
Yeah,
Now
Mario.
forever, I'm gonna look at you, Joe. I'm gonna look at you, and I'm just gonna see that image.
Hipster Bear Mario.
That is forever burned in my brain. And they can't see this listening to this.
I mean, this is the Mimic Chest, so I guess maybe we should put these images with the Mimic Chest post.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know where.
Or maybe we'll put them in the Discord with a spoiler warning on top.
People need to see it.
It needs to be shared. And we need to have a moment of appreciation for John Lick.
Oh,
So we have also done a few very strange games on the Brodeo, the weekly stream that Steve and I do. If y'all weren't aware, we do it on the Authors and Dragons YouTube channel, and we need to be better about plugging it. So this is a good time to bring that up.
yeah.
Watch it every Wednesday at lunchtime at work, and it's really fun.
Well, thank you. So we do it at noon Central Standard Time every Wednesday, and we
Play
have
more Fall Guys.
We should play more Fall Guys. Fall Guys is a fun one. Oh man, we have seen some very strange ones. I think Wingspan it still sticks with me in that, we've played some weird games like Dear God, where it's trying to be strange. Wingspan was not trying to be strange. Wingspan is just a game by somebody who really, really fucking loves birds.
Loves birds and taxonomy. And that's it.
Dirty stinking bird.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game that is all about fucking learning about birds, laying eggs, collecting food, building nests.
Somebody just there is man, I mean, I really like birds and everything, guys, but do you ever just want to rank them? Just rank every single bird to find out which is the most powerful bird in a series of seemingly arbitrary characteristics? No? Just
Is
me.
there an
then.
ivory-billed woodpecker?
I'm
That's
sure
what I remember.
there's so many
There's a lot
fucking
of
birds.
fucking birds in that
No,
game.
rest in peace. It was declared extinct this week. So
Well,
let's
it's
just-
probably at the
Well,
bottom.
it's an
Another
old
moment of-
game, so it
Moment of
lives
silence for
on
Gary.
in Wingspan, maybe.
It gets a negative 2 for being extinct, I guess. I still don't know how the bird taxonomy works.
No. We were playing, we were doing a month focusing on digital board games, because this is this was originally a board game, but you can pick up the digital version on Steam. And it was fun, but it was also like as soon as we got into it, we were just like, "This is fucking weird." Like we have an hour of this, and it's strange.
Like somebody likes birds too much, and we're not
Yeah.
part of that community. And I don't look at birds in the same way anymore either. I had like a homing pigeon come to my house. It was just hanging out in the garden. I was like, where do you rank? Where are you on the bird hierarchy?
Where do I put your eggs so I can get more goddamn worms?
Who sent you? But no, it was fun. An odd experience. An odd diving into what is clearly somebody's, innocent passion. It just seems like weird bird warmongering from my point of view, I guess.
Weird bird
Have you ever
mongering.
talked to a bird watcher? Like, they're really obsessed about birds.
I believe it, and I
yeah.
think they would really enjoy Wingspan.
Is it like Flight Simulator, but for bird watching?
I understand that to an extent because I've kind of started to become that way since we got our bird feeder. Now I'm just kind of like, I'm like, oh, look, it's the northern flicker. Oh, it's a pileated woodpecker.
Well, somebody has
But
made
it's
a
not an
game
ivory billed woodpecker.
No.
to explain to you that you don't like birds enough yet. And
In case you're wondering, my cat is live streaming this mimic chest as we do it. So I'm posting her reactions in real time.
I was imagining your cat with its own phone, just like running its own channel.
Cat's just running a more successful podcast.
If you gave her a chance, she's got thumbs.
Well, that's strange.
Come on, if a cat actually did the podcast, think about how many more views we would get.
Oh, that cat would be amazing on Snapchat, TikTok, whatever the thing is.
Whatever
now.
cats use for podcasting these days.
I think cats have their own social media somewhere, and if we ever tap into that, we hold all the power.
Well, I think they still just like piss in alleyways, which seems like a better social media, to be honest.
Did we all
Yeah, I
share
feel
our
like-
weird names?
Probably they waste less time on Facebook with that. Honestly, might be better. Maybe
Sniff
we should
a
try
piss-covered wall. Same experience.
Oh, it's still cleaner than Twitter on a bad day, isn't it?
Yeah. Less offensive.
Smells better.
It leaves a better taste in your mouth.
Oh God. All right, so another one, somewhat from the Brodeo pile, but this is one we have covered, I think, on the podcast. I want to say we did it for a con. I know we've done it for some event, but Mysterium is a very peculiar game, but a very interesting and fun one. For those who aren't familiar, it is a game where you communicate via images. So one of you plays a ghost, the rest of the players are investigators who are trying to solve the mystery, and the ghost just passes on these very lovely art cards they have, trying to hint at what the correct choices for each investigator are. So a very odd game, but man, really, really fun to play with friends.
Yes,
That's true.
a lot of fun, but also one of those games where you just can't help but scream. How did one side can't help but scream, how did you not get that? And the other's like, what the fuck were you thinking to think that I would associate that?
Why don't you understand my crazy dream language, you idiot? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love cooperative games. Like they're really enjoyable, especially in the board game area. And now that we have sort of the digital equivalent, that's really nice. All the more in pandemic times when it's hard to see your friends, and so you might want to do something that keeps everybody in a good mood and doesn't set off the one of you who loses their shit on Mario Kart.
Hello?
All right.
That's an excellent point, Drew.
Yay!
Yeah.
We definitely didn't have a whole tech hiccup or anything there.
Never. I don't know what you're talking about. I really honestly thought for a second that my cat must have somehow disconnected me. She has done that to me in multiple meetings and panels and stuff. She has knocked me offline.
I just thought that everybody else was looking at this Luigi art and just not concentrating.
Yeah, we all got stunned by... I mean, the smolder is... Yeah. Although, why did you send the other one, Joe? The other one's hideous and horrible, and then you had to send the beauty.
Well,
What did I do to deserve this?
I'm going to put this out there. Luigi, played by Christopher Walken.
That would.
I think I may have just said.
I think I just got the vapors.
Oh god, I just watched King of New York too, which is Walken as a mob boss.
That sounds
The
magical.
cat walked away at that, just so you know. She's done. She's done after that.
I would watch the shit out of Luigi Walken.
Yeah, so would I.
Joe Pesci is Toad.
Joe Pesci is Toad. Oh my god.
And we'll have Bowser, of course, played by Tilda Swinton.
I want to say Danny Glover is Mario. I don't know why. It just strikes me as temperamentally correct in this new bizarre
Is he too
scenario.
old for this shit?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Pesci is Toad and Christopher Walken is Luigi. Of course he's too old for this shit. Just create a very maudlin tone in my live-action Mario movie now.
It is grim to think about.
Gee, way to kill the mood, Steve. Let's just go back to talking about porn and semen.
It's semen.
No, I want to talk about my off-Broadway theatre production of the Mario movie with Christopher Walken, Joe Pesci.
You should do it as a one-man
It's all
Super
Christopher
Mario.
Walken.
All characters are Luigi. It's all in his mind.
Patrick Stewart does all the characters in
Oh my goodness.
Super Mario, the play.
God, that I would watch the shit out of.
I'd watch Patrick Stewart like knitting and reading his shopping list. That would be perfectly enjoyable. Probably more so than the second
Excellent.
season of Picard to come. I digress. I missed that last.
It's like that's a whole
You
different
might.
side quest that I think they did.
Yep.
I just
I
had to
nailed
put
that.
sense in. I snuck it in there.
Let's see. Oh, on the game front, I was thinking about one I had played the remake of from my old NES days, and they brought it back around and updated the graphics. Did anybody else deal with the frustration of the DuckTales game? in
No.
their youth?
No.
PTSD, you might as well bring up the Lion King while you're at it. Ah.
Well, they brought
You mean
back
on
the
the NES?
DuckTales game a few years ago, and it was pretty good. They fixed a bunch of the bullcrap.
Ugh, there are some NES games that I do legit still have PTSD for. It's like, why?
Oh yeah, that was
They
a
jump-
that was the kind of game you can only play when you're a child and you have infinite time and still
Yeah.
not beat.
Yeah, there were some
You
of
had
them where
hope in
like,
your heart.
yeah, it's almost like those insane shooters, like the mega shooters like Einhander, where it's like, by the end of it, my ADHD was so going off. Like, there's too many things on the screen. I don't know what's happening. And you have to go all pinball wizard and just sort of feel it because you can't look at the screen at that point.
A fairly recent game, I big budget game I gave up on was Avengers.
Ooh,
I mean,
I gave
that
up
was a game. Yeah, that was a game I so wanted to like, and I think a lot of people just wanted to love. And I know they keep releasing like new stuff for it, but my first several hours of playthrough were just not fun. It was like a clunky control system. It didn't feel like you were actually in charge of anything. Like it was almost like you're mashing buttons, but the game's doing whatever the hell it wants.
You're the
and-
Hulk and just standing in a circle and you can't do anything. Did you have that side quest where you're literally playing the Hulk and you can't even smash?
I don't even think I got that far. I think like I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next? And the game just gave you like no things of like, you could do a whole bunch of stuff, yes, but what do I do next? Oh, we're not going to tell you.
Yeah, a little too open world.
Sometimes you can overkill by too much choice and not enough variety. I've been looking at, and it's the only time I will enjoy this game is by looking at YouTube videos of it. It's some kind of Mortal Kombat mod project, like Mortal Kombat Infinity or something, where they've taken the Mortal Kombat arcade system and just tried to apply every feasible character into the world. Like you can be Predator, you can be Homer Simpson, you can be Zangief, you can just be all these characters, and it's like, I thought, wow, what a brilliant idea. You can be 100 people and play Mortal Kombat. And then I just thought, you know what? Life is very short, and
I love Mortal Kombat.
I'm not sure I want to play the same kind of... It's like you find out what their finishing moves are, And then once you've done that, it's kind of, now I've got to do this 100 more times. I don't know. It's too much.
Does anyone else play Mortal Kombat?
No, I just watch it on
Yeah.
YouTube now.
I mean, I played it as a kid a few times. I wouldn't say I play it like I know some people play it.
Yeah, I'm in that weird subset of women of a certain age that play Mortal Kombat for the story. I didn't think we were a thing until I met others.
The story's
so
fucking
yeah, I really
insane.
enjoy it.
Yeah, years back they had a pretty crazy mashup where it was Mortal Kombat versus DC, and that was just strange. It's like, okay,
Well,
so
there's Mortal
Scorpion
Kombat
versus
Infinity.
Superman.
Superman always won. Although they did a good job in Injustice, like you actually could sort of like you had to be creative to beat Superman, so it was pretty interesting. I love fighting games, but I don't have the hands to play them, so I am the ultimate backseat fighting game. I have to have a proxy player play for me just so I can see the story in fighting games. That's what my life has come to.
The good thing about Mortal Kombat is because it's so bug fuck insane, as they try to build a cohesive narrative around just this weird
Ninjas.
variety of characters. Yeah, ninjas, G.I. Joe lady, guy with metal
Robot.
arms. We can bring this all together. And they've just been doing that for decades. And now it's just like, yeah, if you want to put Homer Simpson in the game, why the fuck not? I mean, it's not going to break the narrative.
They had RoboCop and the Joker.
Yeah.
Not RoboCop, they had the Terminator.
They got RoboCop as well now. They got Rambo.
Oh, they do have RoboCop as well?
Yeah, Rambo's in
All
it.
I know is that
That
when
does
I
sound pretty
saw
awesome.
Hiroyuki Tagawa come in as Shang Tsung, like to play him in Mortal Kombat 11, I squealed. Like I made so many squealing noises to see that.
Yeah.
It was just such an amazing callback because that's my other guilty pleasure.
They got a couple of the old movie people back. But yeah, you can just fucking put anyone in Mortal Kombat now. There's no story.
I love
It's just
it.
mental.
There are story. There's a whole story. There's like elder gods and a
there's
contest and all these realms and
There's stuff that's happening.
there's romance.
That's true. But, we live on a planet where stuff's happening. Doesn't mean it's a cohesive narrative. And then Rambo showed up for no fucking reason.
Which means, by comparison, Mortal Kombat is real.
Yeah, I mean, possibly more real than our world.
It makes more sense, and being competent means you actually could win. So maybe we should just start pissing off Outworld to improve ours.
Yeah, but being incompetent means you get chewed up by razor blades by some ninja psychopath. So I don't like my odds. But
Yeah, I know. It's like if somebody was like, "Well, you could keep, paying New Jersey property taxes, or you could fight Goro." I don't know. Seems like a pretty easy choice.
Let me know how you do against Goro.
get your arms ripped off and uppercutted into a vat of acid. I mean, it's quicker. But the technological singularity's coming up. If Mortal Kombat keeps expanding, then Mortal Kombat may as well be the real world. It'll be like the Matrix, but awful and terribly violent.
Full of a strange amount. Well, no, about the same amount of martial art.
Well, just for the record, if I were in the Matrix, yeah, it would probably be just like I played all those other games. Like, Rick, stop killing everybody. Okay, we're trying to stop Agent Smith here. Stop killing the passersby.
They might be agents. Anybody could be an agent.
The only way to make sure
They're all agents.
The only way to make sure there's no agents is to kill all potential agents.
Rick, stop doing that. That's something an agent would say.
Well, feels like Neo. This is going to come as some surprise to you, but this world is not quite real. He doesn't even finish the sentence, and Neo just shoves an old lady into traffic. Yes, I knew it. Just runs down the street, punching strangers, kicking toddlers into buildings.
As I'm running around like, no. We have to help people, Rick. We have to help them.
Boom.
Why don't you
Some of
listen
these
to me?
people are real.
You know that if you kill these people, they do literally die.
I can't hear you of all this fun I'm having. Bye-bye.
Wait, I can make a whole a whole infinite closet full of guns. Sorry, what were you saying about real people?
Oh, I'm gonna be running around with the cookies. Like, just eat a cookie, you'll feel better.
This is why the new Matrix movie's not going to work. It's just going to be like, you're in the internet and this isn't real. And they'll be like, and they'll do the gun scene, but it'll just be a rack filled with dildos. They'll just be.
Either that, or they'll be like, "Hey, look, I'm going to look at cat pictures for the next 16 hours."
Yeah, he brings up the gun shelves, but it's just fucking memes. Ah.
I think we've all realized we're a little bit more cipher than we used to be, right?
Neo was supposed to save us, but then he discovered virtual porn.
He pulls out a gun, aims at an agent, pulls the trigger. Never gonna give you. God damn it!
If they rickroll in the new Matrix, I am sold.
Yeah, that will make it the greatest movie ever.
I'm still sold on the ducky. Like, my mood is just lying in a bathtub with a rubber ducky on my head. Like, that's everything.
It's just gonna be a whole fucking bunch of Nyan cat. The fucking Pop-Tart cat is gonna be the star of the new Matrix movie.
Oh, that'd be fucking
Bondo
brilliant if
cat.
it was just like an MPORG and Morpheus is just trying to round Neo up, but he's just playing it like he's just standing on top of a taxi doing the backpack dance for about 10 minutes. Morpheus said, "We've got actual objectives." He's not even replying. He just starts running around in a circle. That'd be brilliant. I mean, if they did an accurate representation of how somebody would behave in a virtual environment. I mean, we played Deer Simulator. We know exactly how it'd go.
Like, yeah, there have been other chosen ones before, but we try not to talk about the goatsy guy.
Yeah, there was it's the Matrix, but it's the blood. It's the Matrix, but it's the blood plague from WoW.
I actually played through that. That was one of the most intense video game experiences in my life. I was a priest.
Oh no.
And it was insane. Like, I was in the group of the priests, like, desperately doing the cure disease and trying to stay away. I was in the helpers, like, trying to get people into the cities and stuff and to keep people out. But it was interesting because they did a whole study on it, and I got to contribute a little bit of my experience because I played since the alpha days of WoW until obviously the company went to what. And I stopped, but yeah, it was an intense experience. I actually had to sneak it into my shingles. There's like a reference to the blood plague in there, which, by the way, we all write shingles. I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, you know it, but you should still buy them. Ding!
You should, and in fact, you should play the Shingles video game that might exist right now. Who knows?
Yeah, we should probably see about making one to see how horrible we could make it. It can't be worse than Leonard Nimoy as Seaman.
I have actually been messing around with RPG Maker just because I like to learn things in my downtime here and there. And I decided to use my Shingles book as the template for like building a game around.
Action Cadabra.
Is it similar to like the Otome game ones, where you can like set up a dating simulator based
I don't
on games and
think
stuff?
so. It's got a lot of depth to it, but it's all made like the old school SNES Final Fantasy RPGs.
Oh, that's so cool. Because they do make games that do like the kind of the dating games where you can put art in, and visual novels, that's what they're called.
I feel like Dating Simulator is the perfect format for a Shingles video game. Yeah.
I was going to say, what somebody needs to introduce these dating simulators to Bob and his Jorcerer art.
I was going to say, this feels like a good one to make with the A&D characters.
I actually have one more weird game that I can talk about.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's hear it.
Barkley, Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
Rings a bell.
It is a little more than the title on that one.
It is a JRPG about basketball, starring Charles Barkley as a basketball adventurer in the post-apocalyptic future after some basketball player drops something called a chaos dunk that wrecks half the world.
So much cooler than Shaq Fu.
It's fucking nuts.
I have to find this now because I thought I knew all the basketball games that were out there.
No.
Even the Michael Jordan one that got eclipsed by Shaq Fu.
I only played around with it like a little bit, but basically it's jokingly presented as an official sequel to both Barkley Shut Up and Jam and Space Jam.
Dear Lord.
And it's in the style of like a straight up JRPG.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Destination of video games is just to put as much other video games into your video game until the video game becomes all that there is.
Video game, the video game? Is that what you're saying?
Video game, the existence.
Depending on your choice, you get a loading screen. It's like, please load disc for a much better game.
I was going to say, the ultimate iteration of this, of course, is playing a video game of someone using RPG Maker. And the actual controls of this video game are like you have to resource manage. You have to manage their like sweat, their enjoyment, their desire to die, with like food intake and sleep.
You have to guide them to make the video game, because if they don't, it's like Back to the Future. You just won't exist.
Exactly.
I envision more like it's the Matrix, but everyone's in on it, and it's just non-stop teabagging. I think that's the future.
That would be such a horrible. Like if we always talk about there's all these like isekai anime where you end up in a game world, and I'm just thinking none of them really capture how horrible that would be. Except my shingles, of course. Ding! There, I just managed to sneak that one in again. But it's true. It's just like, wow. There would be so much teabagging that's just not represented enough in lit RPG.
Just not enough teabagging.
If there is no hell, we will build one, and it will be wonderful.
Boy, if that doesn't encapsulate the video game industry, I don't know what does. In a lot of literal and metaphorical ways, unfortunately. And much like the boo bursting forth from Luigi's giant dick, this metaphor has reached its end.
Its terrifying conclusion.
Yeah.
Don't look at
The
it.
terrifying conclusion is Leisure Suit Larry exploding Luigi dick? Is that what I'm supposed to take out of this that gets to semen?
Here is the opening like premise of that Charles Barkley game. The game starts off in 2041, 12 years prior to the main part of the game, in post-cyber-apocalyptic Neo New York. Charles Barkley performs a powerful chaos dunk at a basketball game, inadvertently killing most of the people in attendance. As a result, basketball is outlawed and many basketball players are hunted down and killed.
Shaq Fu, revenge!
Just occurred to me that if Luigi's giant dick is coming boos, it's like if you're looking at it, they can't come out. You have to look away.
In 2053, another chaos dunk is performed in Manhattan, killing millions. Barkley is blamed for the chaos dunk and is hunted by the B-ball removal department led by Michael Jordan.
Okay, real talk. If someone has the power to dunk a basketball and kill millions, maybe don't fuck with that person.
Yeah.
Or maybe call Michael Jordan.
Oh. Well, we will have to tackle that on our next side quest where we all review The Last Dance.
If you send me this, I will come out of video game review retirement and try it out. Oh my god.
All right, everybody. That is going to do it for us Mimic Chest this month. Thank you all for joining us for our How Did This Get Played video game interaction. Special thanks to RE Carr for coming and guesting with us.
It's my jam.
Hey!
Woo!
Yay!
Right.
Luigi forever!
All right.
And shirtless Mario.
We'll see you all next month. Until then,
Bye.
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 Bye!
Do the Mario!
Fuck!